Good morning and welcome back to my channel. For me, whilst recording this video, it's Friday, the 12th of July, just after 9 AM. I am going to group tomorrow, but won't be coming home from group. I'm going out for the day. Joe's going to come home after he's dropped me off and I've got weighed, and he will pin my weighing results in the comments on this video for anybody who's interested. I want to talk this morning about things that do the same job but might look different. I've got in my hand two decorations from my Thanksgiving tree. This one is a tassel, this one is a pom-pom, both of them made by my 12-year-old friend. Now these both do the same job. They're both decorations from a Thanksgiving tree, but they look very different. And I think what I want to talk about this week is about diets, diet plans, and how the ultimate goal for all of us is to lose weight, but we might find a different route of doing it. And none of us are right, none of us are wrong, we're all individuals. One of the comments that went up on my channel this week, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the commenter, but it's there written in the comments, was that a lot of people seem to be currently leaning towards fasting and calorie counting, and what were my views on it. Well, I do have one or two views, and I actually do respect intermittent fasting and calorie counting because it works. There are many, many forms of diets. We can go to Slimming World, we can go to Weight Watchers, we can calorie count from a book, we can use MyFitnessPal, we can do Team RH, we can do keto, we could be what I think of as very extreme, and follow the lady I like who's called Sarah Pearls of Wisdom, who does OMAD. And for those who don't know, OMAD stands for one meal a day. And I was watching Sarah this morning and she was telling me about people who, not telling me, but telling us about people who actually do one meal every other day. Now, these things to me sound really quite extreme, but what I respect after 4+ years of doing Slimming World is that we all have a right to choose, and we all need to find what works for us, because none of these diet plans are one size fits all. When you take into account the difference in a lot of us, in our age, in our lifestyles, in our habits, in our likes and our dislikes, we're never all going to like the same thing. Now, I have my way of working Slimming World as a 60 or almost 63-year-old that works for me today, but I honestly know that it would not have worked for me when I was in my 30s. It wouldn't have worked for me when I was in my 40s, but my lifestyle's different today. And I have the freedom to do a lot of things today that I didn't have back then. So I found a plan that actually works for me. Now, I'm assuming it was a young lady who asked me, what do I think of intermittent fasting? I think it works, but then I think any diet plan works if you work it, if it's right for you. Intermittent fasting is something that has been around for a long time, hasn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
I think it's quite popular in the weight building fraternity. A lot of people who lift weights might use intermittent fasting, might they? Because it's a healthy thing. But there are ways of intermittent fasting, and lots and lots of this is on social media and you'll find it. And there's intermittent fasting for somebody like me who might choose to lose weight. There's intermittent fasting for people who want to use it to build muscle. There's intermittent fasting for people who want to use it to burn fat, specifically fat.
It doesn't build muscle any better though. It's just a way of controlling your calories.
Is it?
Yeah.
It
doesn't build like superior
It doesn't build
muscle or anything. No. It's literally just the same as eating, but you're just cramming your calories into a shorter eating window so you can eat more at once. So you can eat bigger meals. It's mainly a dieting thing.
It's mainly for weight loss.
Yeah, it's mainly for weight loss. You're going to struggle to eat a surplus of calories by
making too small.
Yeah.
So if
why would you decrease your eating window when you're trying to eat in a surplus of calories to gain weight and gain muscle? It just, more calories, less time. It just seems a bit.
So basically, if somebody has a very small eating window, it's a good way of limiting calorie intake.
Yeah, it's a good way of limiting calorie intake because, yeah.
So for somebody who had, say, an 8 or 6 hour eating window who wanted to build muscle,
You'd have to cram a hell of a lot of calories
because
into a short amount of time.
Because your average weightlifter would eat what? Average
A man
calories?
probably 3,000.
So to get 3,000 calories into a 6-hour non-fasting window would be really hard, wouldn't it? Without eating a lot of...
Yeah, it'd make it difficult without eating a load of like higher calorie foods.
Yeah.
But some people enjoy that. Some people like eating higher calorie foods and they'll do that.
Well, this is what I was thinking about Sarah Pearls of Wisdom. I mean, she doesn't eat a massive number of calories. In fact, that's one thing I don't quite get when I watch her. Her calorie intake is usually around 11 to 1,300 a day, which I believe, and this is only my opinion, I believe that's way too low. That's almost, well, years and years ago they used to talk about women needing 1,200 calories a day, but I think that was dispelled quite some time ago, because when you look at the BMR, which is a basal metabolic rate for most women, it would be way above 1,200, wouldn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
And your basal metabolic rate is what you need literally to exist in a coma. So if you cut, or if I cut my calories that low, I would really struggle, and I wouldn't feel well, I don't think.
No, you'd feel awful. You'd have no energy. You'd be moody. You wouldn't want to do anything.
Whereas the lady I watch on YouTube, Sarah, she does it because she has a OMAD and she exists on high fat and practically no vegetables, and it's working for her. You can tell from watching her. She's happy, she's cheerful, she's very active. For a lady of about 69, it's working for her, which is why I say things can come in many shapes and sizes but still do the same job. What Sarah's following, which is a carnivore diet, actually is doing the job for her. What I'm following, which is a Slimming World plan, is doing the job for me. So all in all, you can have two things that look very different and they do the same job, because the bottom line to all weight loss is calories in, calories out. And if you can find a way of, I don't want to use the word restricting your calories, but if you can find a way of balancing the calorie number that works for you by limiting your eating window, by spreading it over 5 meals a day, whatever, that's all that matters, because it doesn't matter how you do it. What matters is the number of calories you're taking in and the number of calories you're burning. So I found the whole topic really fascinating, and I was at the pub last night with a friend, and I was asking her, what do you think about intermittent fasting? What do you think? Because she's a Slimming World like me, but she's not as strict as I am, because she doesn't need to be. She's where she wants to be in her life, she's where she wants to be in her body, and she doesn't need to be, well, she's not made up like me. I'm a compulsive, obsessive type person who needs to keep a food diary, who needs to treat it like a project, who needs to make it up there at the front of my life, because when I let the plan slide, my whole life slides behind it. But I was asking my friend, what do you think about these things? And she's probably a lot more better, that's wrong, isn't it? She's probably a lot better than me at looking for similarities. I tend to focus quite often on differences. And she said to me, bottom line, does it matter how you do it as long as you get there and it's working and you're not punishing yourself and you're not miserable? Now, one of the things I am often saying on my channel is that I have an eating window. I wouldn't like anybody to mistake what I call an eating window for fasting. I don't fast. I don't need to. I am where I want to be doing what I'm doing. And the reason I don't fast is because I used to do fasting in church, in the Christian church we used to do fasting. I spent the whole day obsessing about how much I could eat when I stopped fasting, which is totally against the Christian principles. I mean, anybody who fasts for Ramadan will understand the intention is not to spend the whole day obsessing about what you're going to have the minute you break that fast. And when we fasted back then, we used to drink coffee with milk. I did. We used to chew chewing gum, and I hate chewing gum, but I would chew chewing gum if I was fasting because I was always hungry. And I think the point of somebody who's got the balance right is that they're not always hungry, they're not obsessed about what they can eat next, they're not chewing gum, they're not drinking coffee with milk in it, because that's not fasting. My understanding of when you are in your fasting window is that you're taking clear liquids. Different people interpret that differently. Some people would say only water, some people would say water, black coffee, black tea, some people would say water, black coffee, black tea, diet drinks. Everybody has a right to choose, don't they? But when I have my eating window, which is 8 a.m. to 6 p.m, that isn't fast. It's not a sort of 10-hour eating window and then I fast for 14 hours, most of which I'm probably in bed. It's none of that, because when I'm outside of my eating window, I would still drink big milky coffees. So I don't want anybody to confuse me talking about having an eating window with me talking about fasting. I have great respect for people who fast. I have great respect for people who do keto, for people who are carnivores, for people who are vegans. Everybody has to find their way to get to where they want to be. But the key to it all, and I think what is really, really important, is that you enjoy the journey. Because I know if somebody said to me today, right, you've got to do this every day to lose weight, and this meant the crazy things I used to do years ago, which was eat only bananas for the day, take a liquid diet every day, which worked. I lost 8 stone, but then I put it back on again. I think I put 10 back on. But anyway, if anybody tried to enforce any of that on me, I know today that I couldn't do it. But I know today that I can do Slimming World, that I have found portion control, I have found balance, I have found a love of good food within Slimming World, and it's working. So everybody must find what works for them. There is no one size fits all. There is no right way and wrong way. I also want to say, in my opinion, there are no quick fixes. Because I see people come into group who may only have a stone to lose, and it may take them 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and they get to target. But then the ultimate is you've got to have changed your habits to stay there. So whatever diet plan we choose, whatever weight loss plan we choose, I think the biggest key is consistency. Finding something that you can do for the foreseeable future. Not like when I used to do the banana diet. I mean, I've done some mad diets over the years. But they were always very short term, because I always saw the word diet as, dare I eat this? And usually I didn't. And I built up so many disorders in myself with these crazy practices. So hats off to anybody who's finding an eating plan that works for them. I've got a couple of other things on my list, I think, Joe, hadn't I?
Friday night.
Oh yeah, one of my lovely friends that I've made on this channel is a lady called Susan One and Only, and Susan and I were having a discussion quite a long time ago about the benefits of Actifries. Now, in my lifetime I've had 2 Actifries. The first one I gave away because I found it too noisy. Being a blind person, I need to be able to hear what I'm cooking. And if the Actifry was going next to the cooker, I couldn't hear whether things were boiling or simmering on the stove. So that had to go, and I gave it away to a friend. And then about a year ago, in a moment of insanity, I went and bought another one. And I don't know why I thought it would be any different. But it wasn't. It was still too noisy for me. In fact, I think as I get older, my hearing isn't as good as it used to be. Well, Susan and I had this discussion, and then Susan recommended a kitchen gadget, a piece of useful kit that she uses, which is called a Fry Delight. And she said to me, you know, I would recommend this for you over and above an Actifry. It's quite different, but it does a lot of the same things. So we thought about it, didn't we, Joe, for a few weeks. And this week we decided, or last week we decided to buy one. So we ordered one from Tefal, and it came about 3 or 4 days ago, and I love it. Now, it differs from the Actifry in that it's square. So it's about this square. Let me put these down. It's about this square, about this tall. It's white, which matches my microwave and everything, which is quite strange because when we ordered it, we intended to order a black one, but when it came, we were glad it was white. And instead of having the lift-up lid and the blade that turns, do you call it a blade? Is there another word for that? Paddle, that's right, paddle that turns. This actually has a pull-out basket. And if you can imagine, when we were kids, we fried our chips in a chip pan, didn't we? Well, this is a solid-sided thing that sits inside with a gridded bottom, so the air can circulate up and through it. So some things you might have to turn. You might need to shake your chips halfway through if you cook chips. But I've used it a couple of times this week. I did sauteed potatoes in it one day, and I did some corn pâtés in it the other day. And I have to say, for a visually impaired person, it's a doggle to use. The thing with the ActiveFry is I could never set the controls, not being able to see. But on this one, it literally has a timer knob and it has a slide control for the temperature. And as a blind person, within 5 minutes I could use it. So I want to thank Susan publicly for recommending that. I think it's going to help me on my plan. And I want to say to anybody who can't get on with the ActiveFry, who doesn't want something with a paddle, but wants something that has a lot of the same uses, because this you can bake, you can grill in it. It's actually got an ability to grill. You can roast, you can air fry. You can do quiches in it. So as long as you sit your Pyrex quiche thing or your metal quiche dish or your silicone quiche dish into the bottom of the basket, you can actually make quiches in it. I'm going to do little bacon and egg cups in it today. It's something I think I'm going to find increasingly useful as I scratch my head and think about what can I use this for. And it's something I can use when Joe's not here. Whereas the ActiveFry, if I'd wanted to use that, I would have had to wait for Joe to be at home, which is not the answer for me. So yeah, thanks for that, Susan. If anybody's interested, have a look on the Tefal website or have a look on YouTube. I think they're around the £100 mark, but I'm quite impressed with it. And it's so easy to wash because you can just take the inside part out, dump it in the sink or the dishwasher. The whole thing comes out and then you just wipe the inside, put it back together. It's good, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're quite impressed with that. Thanks, Susan. Did I have anything else on that?
Wheat-free.
Yeah, talked last Saturday about going wheat-free for 4 weeks and got off to a great start, because to cut wheat out of my diet was no big issue. Basically, it was just take the Weetabix out, really, which I did. Took the Weetabix out, and I'm going along quite nicely. And then on Wednesday, as I've just said, in my Friday light, I decided to do a couple of the corn sausage pâtés. No, not thinking. Until Joe said to me later in the day, you do realise, don't you, they've got wheat in. And I had commented when I put them in the cooker, you couldn't have these, they're not gluten-free. But it didn't dawn on me, so it just shows you, wheat's hidden in all sorts of food. So yeah, I boobed. On Wednesday, I had 2 sausage corn pâtés that had wheat in. But that's the only wheat I've had this week. Do I feel better for it? Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good. I don't know whether I've lost any weight around my middle. I don't know what I weigh because it's Friday and I'm not going to group until tomorrow. But as I say, Joe will pin up at the top of the comments thing what my weight results are tomorrow for anybody who's interested. So yeah, the wheat-free thing is going well. The one thing I have done this week is I've really brought back avocados. I love avocado. And in life, when you enjoy something, I would say to take avocados out of my plan is not going to be dangerous, it's not going to harm me in any way, but I would miss out on something I really enjoy. And I am conscious that of late, for the last good few weeks, I have not been eating avocados. They are a healthy fat. So I'm back to having an avocado a day. Let's see if an avocado a day keeps the weight gain away. I don't think it will. Well, it's all trial and error, isn't it? But if avocados made me gain weight, I would be very, very surprised. There's something that grows as God created it. They're not processed. They don't come out of a laboratory. That is something I am really conscious that I do. When I look at my food diary at the end of the day, and I literally write down hex choices at the top, free foods in the middle. That includes all speed food as well. Another thing that's happened to me this week, I am not focusing on speed food. I'm focusing on free food. Because Naomi tells me get the focus back on free food. And I used to get myself into a terrible state if I ate too many bananas in a week, or if I was choosing grapes over raspberries, or if I was having mango when I should have been having watermelon. And do you know what? It doesn't matter that much. The calorie difference is so minimal. And I stand here saying what matters is the calories, and then I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't buy a mango when I can buy a watermelon. Oh my God, I shouldn't be eating, I was going to say pineapple, but I don't really like pineapple, but I shouldn't be eating cherries. I mean, this morning I've had a big bowl of raspberries, strawberries, grapes and cherries. Is any of that going to harm me? I don't think so. Are the cherries going to be that much more fattening than the raspberries? I don't think so. It's food as it was created. And as I was saying, when I look back on my food list, I find increasingly that I'm not eating processed foods. And I think for me, and I can only speak for myself, the danger is in the processed foods. Like eating the corn pâtés and falling foul of the fact that they had wheat in them was because it was a corn pâté. If I'd been eating a bit of fillet steak or a salmon fillet, I wouldn't have had that problem, would I? Because that's as God created it. So it's been an interesting week and I've really enjoyed it. But I haven't been white knuckling it, having, tried to give up wheat, because 2 Weetabix a day it's not a sacrifice, is it? Yeah. Is that all I have to say, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I say, it's Friday for me. I'm going to get on with my day. We will see you tomorrow by video. Well, I will, because I'm in front of the camera. He's behind it.
Sorry, that was...
Are you choking, dear?
No.
Well, he's probably reading Reddit and trying
No, I
not
wasn't.
to
I was
laugh.
laughing at you.
You're laughing at me?
Yeah, stumbling over your words.
Oh, right. I'm just going to go and thump the cameraman gently. I'll see you tomorrow by video. Remember, it works if you work it. It doesn't matter what it is, just do it. That's the Nike slogan, isn't it? Just do it. I'll see you next Saturday after group. And we'll share my results. And now I'm waffling, so I'm going. Have a good week, all of you. And thank you for watching, and thanks for your lovely comments. Cheers.